Okay. Can we have a 5 by 5, please? This is quite important because there's been some weird technical difficulties over the last week with the video quality being crap. Someone can't hear me. It's blurry. Sometimes it stops. So we need to make sure that that's good before we can get going. So we're waiting for the lag because there's always a lag. We got 40 people in here. The other day we had 6. So I'm just waiting for confirmation. Do you know what? It used to be like 5, 8 seconds. Now it's about a minute. It's really pants, actually. So whilst we're waiting, oh, cool. Thank you to Steve and thank you to Rachel. Awesome. Right. I'm going to come out of the chat. Okay. Because today, when I woke up, I wasn't really sure what to talk about. I had a crap night's sleep. Who else had the crap night's sleep? I think I was awake till 3:30. Woke up whenever I did. And yeah, hence this is a bit late. But what I wanted to do was to talk about what I'm feeling, what's in me, rather than researching stuff, almost do like PowerPoint stuff. So this is one of those videos which gets a lot of praise. I've done a few videos like this before, and the amount of comments to say this is easily the best video that you've ever done, and I like doing them. I really do. And it's like speaking from the heart, speaking the truth, and just being honest about things. Okay, because let's face it, there's so much bullshit out there with all sorts of things. And yes, this is a prepping channel. And most times people talk about shit at the fan. Have you got enough food? Have you got a bug out location? Have you got a bug out bag? What knife have you got? And where do you hide your beans? And all of this sort of stuff. That's great, and it's important. It really is. It's practical prepping. What I'm going to talk about today is mental prepping, because this doesn't really get covered as much as it deserves. And I feel now, for me personally, now is the time to talk about these things. Okay. Because in my opinion, through my experiences and my journey, it's no good having all of the kit and equipment and knowing how to use it, but you're just mentally not up to the job, because when we're talking, when things go bad, when things go wrong, when things are uncomfortable, things are painful, nothing goes to plan, those are the times which really separate the men from the boys. Now, you have to be honest with yourself. Do you want to be a man or do you want to be a boy? Present company accepted for the ladies out there, but I think you know where I'm going with this. So, all of us are on our own journey. Every single person on this planet right now is totally unique. Some people will understand this and some people won't. It's absolutely fine. We are all in our own paths, in our own way, because of our own experiences. Okay. Everyone's different. Some people had a really, really good, amazing childhood, and some people have a terrible childhood. So those two people, when they're at the same age, when they're in their 20s or something, do you think they're going to have different opinions? Of course they are, because their life experience is completely different than the other person. So most of us over our lives have had to deal with grief in some way. So whether it's a pet, whether it's a friend, whether it's a family member, whether it's a close family member, like a parent, for example. Now, there's all sorts of professional help out there for counseling, and there's many different types of psychology and counseling as well. Now, you could go to the best person, most highest in regard, and it might help, it might not, because everyone's situations and experiences is completely different than anyone else. So basically, what might work for one may not work for the other. Because like I keep saying, and I'm going to say this a lot in this video, individualism. Okay, we should celebrate being individual. Okay, how many of us when we was younger followed fashion? We had to wear, or we felt we had to wear, the same sort of clothes as everyone else because we didn't want to stand out. We didn't want the fear of being ridiculed. And that's a big thing. One of the most important lessons in life that we can all learn is to stop worrying what people think of us. and you literally let go of the fear. But we'll come on to that a bit later. So back to grief then. You know, when you have a parent and you're really close to them, you've had a great childhood, and all of a sudden they're not there, and you can't go to them for help anymore. You can't go to them for advice. And, you know, your life moves on. You have kids, and then you really wish that that parent was still there to see the grandkids, but it's just not. I'm basically talking about my mum because, you know, she went in 2020, and it is difficult. You know, most of us have those sort of issues. So yeah, you wish they were there, but of course they're never going to come back. And most of us have had that. And, you know, I would love for my mum to be here so she can see my son still. But, you know, we have to move on. We have to keep going. And, you know, you can bottle all this up. You can keep it to yourself, or you can talk to people about it. And that's where you realize who your true friends are. You know, how many of us have heard the old adage, I think it is, you know, you can count your real friends on one hand. And you know what? The older you get, the more that you realize that's 100% true. It really, really is. I remember being a young man in my 20s, just come out of infantry for a while. And, you know, someone asked me that. And I said, well, I say about 20 friends. I've got 20 good friends that I can rely on. And over the years, that's turned into about 4 or 5. And, you know, with the success of this YouTube channel, I have a lot of followers. A lot of people feel that they know me, although they've never met me before. I speak to loads at the Prepper Meet, and one's coming up real soon. Incidentally, there's a link below the video about the Prepper Meet. It's nearly sold out. So if you do think you want to come along, you know, I would act sooner rather than later, because once it's sold out, you're going to have to wait till September, the next one. So yeah, you know, when you meet these people, and you know, the same is going to happen this year. You know, I'm going to be meeting loads of people that I've never met before. Some of you have just found me by chance, or is it chance? Were you guided to come here? Were you always going to come into this community and meet myself and everyone else? That's a completely different way of thinking, because I don't really believe in luck anymore. I believe everything happens for a reason. So the grief of losing a loved one, you know, some people out there who have lost their wife, their husband, their boyfriend, their girlfriend, their auntie, uncle, mum, dad, whatever it is, or even a close friend that you've known for a long, long time. It's hard. And I'm here to tell you that sometimes when it's really hard and you can feel it building up inside you, usually it's when you're on your own for a period of time. That's when it will start to grow, and basically you'll just cry. And I don't care if you're a macho alpha male guy or some headmistress or whatever. Everyone needs to cry, because crying is a really good stress reliever. Just think about it as a pressure cooker. You remember the old pressure cookers where you put your meat in there, you put the lid on, and you put the little valve, and you really ramp the pressure up. And some of the posh ones have got a gauge. Well, that's a lot of pressure in there, and it's building and building and building. Now, that pressure can build very slowly over a long period of time, years, in fact. And until you let some of that pressure out, and until you cry it out, whether you want to shout, scream, bawl your eyes out, whether you want to do it on your own, or it just happens that you're in the company of a loved one, it needs to come out. Because one of the biggest problems that I feel comes back to the same thing. People worry what other people think. People assume and maybe concludes that crying in front of others is a sign of weakness. But let me tell you this, lots of the things that we've been told is bullshit. It's the other way around. In my opinion, crying, especially in front of other people, is a sign of strength, because you could get the hardest coffin nail guy, you know, 6-pack, big shoulders, square jaw, and he just can't. He's frightened to cry in front of others. But one day he may do. And then someone will look at it and say, wow, that takes guts to do that. Why? Because that guy is learning in his own time, in his own pace, that it's okay to cry. And it's good because it needs to come out. The amount of friends that I've had who have got PTSD, who served in the military, and even my late grandfather on my mum's side, when I was growing up, he never spoke. He was in Dunkirk on the beaches in 1944. And he never spoke after that. The things that he saw, he basically bottled it all up, and it literally ate him away from the inside. It's always good to talk. It really, really is, because if you can't talk, cry, and use your intuition to guide you towards someone who is going to be there for you so they can listen to all of this stuff that's coming out of you, because it's not good keeping it inside. Because if you got bad energy inside you and you allow it to stay there for a long period of time, it's going to start eating away. And believe it or not, lots of cases of cancer is down to holding in pain and not letting it out, because it gets so bad, it will just manifest and grow inside. And then it will, as you know, it will take over, and that will be the end of that person. That is a crazy thing to say, but try to imagine it in a visual way. And that's how bad it is when you don't talk to someone, you don't cry, you don't shout, you don't let that bad energy out. Just think of it as a cup, okay, a big empty cup, and it will slowly fill up over time. At some point, you just have to tip all that stuff out, but we'll come on to that in a bit. So it takes time. It takes as long as it takes. So don't feel embarrassed if you lose someone close to you, that in 2 or 3 years' time, you're still struggling a bit, because everyone's different. Everyone has the right to grieve at their own pace. Okay, there isn't a textbook to say, oh, if your husband dies, you're supposed to be really sad for 2 years, and then you'll be okay, and then you'll meet someone else and it'll be fine. It doesn't work like that, and it never will. Like I said, everyone's experience is totally unique, and everyone has the right to choose however long it takes. And some people never get over it. It will take all of their life if it's really deep. And there's always that thing called regret. Now, personally, I don't regret anything in my life, because I believe all of the things that I've done has made me the person who I am right now. The only regrets that I have is not learning by some of the mistakes. You know, you keep making the same mistake over and over and over again. Basically, you're being handed lessons to learn. And if you're not learning them, you will just have to keep doing them again. And sometimes this could be multiple times in someone's lifetime. And if you want to really go deep, you could even go back to past lives, the same mistakes. Eventually, at some point, when that person's ready, that person will learn that mistake, therefore not making it again. The only regret is the amount of time that it's taken to keep learning these same mistakes. And we're going to get onto some of that as we go through this little chat that we're doing. So it's all about the journey. Everyone is on their own path. Okay, I've known hardened criminals that have been inside for 15 years. And when they've come out, they said to me, all of the things that they've done, all of the bad things that they've done to other people, they constantly got bad luck all of the time. They was constantly having shit served to them. It's not until that person that I'm talking about now spent 15 years inside thinking about things a lot. So when that guy come out, he flipped it. You know, what if I'd done good rather than done bad? Maybe good things will happen to me. And guess what? It did. And it's literally what you put out there comes back to you. So if you're feeling angry, jealous, bitter, twisted, and you're putting that energy out there, well, guess what? All that's going to happen is it's going to be reflected straight back to you. So you're going to meet people who are jealous, bitter, greedy, angry. And you're thinking, bloody hell, my life's pretty crap, because I'm feeling really bad. And all of my so-called friends around me, they're all bad as well. And, you know, when they see someone else having a nice time because they're facing their fears, they're growing, they're evolving, they're moving on, and they've got some degree of happiness, lots of these people, especially in groups like peer pressure groups, they become jealous. And it is another low vibrational energy to radiate on. It's not good. But again, these are all parts of our journey, learning these things as we go. So when I said about other people being in your circle of friends, like what you attract, what you get, basically. And it's when you finally realize who your real friends are. You know, you have to literally come to the point where you think to yourself, are my friends really helping me? Do I need them? Right or wrong, whatever. Okay. Now, we've already talked about what happened in 2020 and how it's literally split the psyche of humanity. Those who believe in the crap and those who don't. It's really simple. So you do find out who your real friends are. I had a long-term friend that I met in art college back in like 1988, I think it was. And we stayed friends right up to 2020. Now, as soon as I was talking about political things and my theories about how the world is and why it is how it is, he disagreed totally on everything. So we're talking the extreme. Okay. If you look at it politically, he was left and I was right. And that long-term friendship come to an end and we don't communicate anymore. Now, I know lots of you have had similar things, whether it's work colleagues, whether you go to work and they take the piss out of you because you're a conspiracy theorist or whatever. Now, a conspiracy theorist is, I would say, a conspiracy analyst. So we're basically analyzing information. We're not theorizing things. We're analyzing the facts and trying to use our intelligence to decipher the bullshit that's behind it all. Lots of us do that. And that's a good thing. I think we should always question things because I think all of the idiots out there who like all this woke stuff, they don't use cash. You know, the opposing factors to what our beliefs are, you know, they just literally haven't got a clue and it's their journey. So we just need to leave them there. So what I'm saying is when you learn to value yourself, then this is really important. This is a lesson which I've learned very recently. And it's so profound, it's shocking. You can have friends for years. And it's not till you start thinking about those friends and some of the things that they've done. And, you know, when you was in deep shit, where were they? Did they reply to messages? All of these things, they all add up. And then you start to think, you know what? I need to start thinking about myself now, not thinking about others. So what I said earlier about your cup being empty, over time, you listen and you absorb other people's shit. Okay. Like I said, everyone has got lots of shit on their plate. Everyone has. Everyone's got all sorts of problems, whether it's money, financial, emotional, whatever it is, everyone's got issues. Now, when you sort of develop a network of friends and you know some of the friends, they only phone you up when they need to offload shit. Without sounding disrespectful, emotional vampires. They've got loads of emotional problems and they keep contacting you because they want you to absorb all of their bad stuff into your cup. Slowly over time, your cup starts to fill up. And when it gets to the top, that's the point where it's overwhelming. It's too much. Whatever we're doing at the time, it needs to stop. It needs to stop, whether you're in an important meeting at work, whether you're on the phone, or whether you're driving a car, whatever it is, you just have to stop. And you just have to tip everything out of that cup. Because the lesson that I've learned is I've not really been valuing myself. It's crazy, I know, but it's true. You know, when you start to put other people before yourself nearly all of the time, and then when you find yourself on your own for a while, and you say to yourself, well, what actually do I want? Who am I? All I've been doing is helping and teaching and supporting other people. And here I am. I don't know what to do with myself. It's crazy. And I know lots of you have had that sort of feeling as well. It sort of creeps up on you. And it's very strange when you go to yourself, wow, I'm 52 years old. What actually do I like? You know, have I been liking things which lots of other people like and I just wanted to fit in? So you have to conclude, right, okay, now I'm finding time for me. Now I'm doing the self work. I'm working on myself. Shadow work is another term you can use. So you start going inside yourself and thinking about what you like, what you don't like. And you have to be 100% totally honest. No bullshit. Because if you are lying in any sort of percentage, it's not going to work. You're not going to truly get the benefit. And the benefit is when you finally realize who you are and you value yourself, and you will learn to realize that lots of the friends that you thought they were your friends aren't really. Do they really give a shit about you? Have you got that thing in common anymore? Have they let you down at the last minute? It's true. I was supposed to go to the bushcraft show, and I invested my time and effort into choosing certain people to be part of a team to do talks and demonstrations. And all of them said, yeah, brilliant, can't wait. And 1 week before, all 8 of them pulled out. Oh, they can't do it for whatever. And, you think, wow, okay. And now some of them, they are going to the show, even though they told me that they absolutely couldn't. But not only that, they are doing talks and demonstrations and other stuff. So, okay, the realization is I feel used. I feel like I've had the piss taken out of me. It's not nice. And I thought, well, what should I do about it? The immediate thing is to write down a list in my mind of all of these people and block all of them so they can't see any of my stuff. Unfollow all of them on social media. And I had a clear out. I think I've blocked and unfollowed about 20 people in the last couple of days. Why? Because I'm valuing myself. I am no longer allowing myself to have the piss taken out of me because people use me. And mainly it's because I've got a huge following online and people feel like they want something for themselves or they can get something from me. Well, what about me? This is what I want to do. I choose to use my time to help others when I can. And the rest of the time, I'm doing what I want to do. There are not many people who know what I actually like doing. It's no one's business because we've all got our lives, our journeys, and it's private. It's no one's business. So don't feel that you need to share everything. All I'm trying to say is when you realize that some people out there are using you, you need to do something about it, because if you don't, what's going to happen is your cup is going to get filled up more frequently and you're going to find yourself crying more, emptying it all out, and then coming to the same conclusion. Why does this keep happening to me? Why me? Well, guess what? Again, it's another life lesson. Now, are you going to keep making the same mistakes, or are you going to do something to get past it? And my recent lesson, which I've learned, is valuing myself. Anyone taking a piss out of me, anyone being disrespectful to me can do one. They all get immediately blocked. There's no second chances. I don't care. I'm more important to me than to allow that to happen. Now, I would like to think that lots of you guys do the same, because let me tell you this, all the time that you're allowing people to walk all over you and take the piss, what is that saying about you? You are allowing that to happen, and you can dream up as many excuses as to why you're allowing that to happen. But the basic fundamental point is you are allowing it to happen. Now, like I say, that was my lesson that I've learned recently, and it's great. It's almost like you're doing a great big long tab, a big long walk, and you've got a backpack on, and it's starting to get really heavy and it's cutting into your shoulders a bit. So I thought, I'm just going to sit down. I'm knackered. I'm going to take this off. And when you take that backpack off, it's like, oh, I feel lighter. I feel so much better. And that's pretty much how I felt. When you offload these fake friends and people who don't really care about you, it's great. And some people may listen to me saying all of this and saying, oh, wow, what an ego thing. How up his arse is that? But it's not the case. This is what we're all being taught, okay? If you do stuff for yourself, you're described as being selfish. Now, this is the problem, because we're all subconsciously being brainwashed into do stuff for other people all the time. But really what we need to be doing is doing stuff for ourselves. Do what you want to do. Do what you really like. Not do something that you think someone else likes and you want to fit in. Screw that. Do what you want to do. If you want to ride a unicycle with a pair of Speedos on, smoking a cigar, going from the high street, you go for it, my friend. We can do anything that we want. And it's the ramifications of doing something which isn't nice, which will come back to bite us. And it will. And that's how it's supposed to be. So what you put out there comes back. So learn to build your own circle of trust, your own friends. Who are the people who really, really mean a lot to you? They're the people that you probably need to spend more time with, rather than trying to impress all of the arseholes out there who don't really care and respect you as a person. Just stop talking to them people. And a good tip, which a good friend of mine said years ago to me now, if you're out in public and this person comes up to you and you don't really like them for whatever reasons, a good tip is tell them what they want to hear. Make them feel good about themselves for a short time. Make your excuses and just leave. That person thinks, ah, okay, well, I had like 20 seconds of him. I know he's busy. He's gone off. And then you're not giving that person any energy, any power anymore. That is the more socially acceptable technique to deal with that. Or you can go the opposite and just punch them in the face, because that will absolutely send a message to that person that they are no longer valued or welcome. No, don't worry. I'm not endorsing people punch people in the face, but you see where the opposite ends of the scale can go. And it's up to you wherever you want to put that needle in between the two. So another thing is lots of people get a little bit pissed off when they fail, when they lose. Don't forget, it's not your fault, because when we're at school, and some people call it an education, but I call it an indoctrination. Okay, it's not till you step back and you look of how these kids are being controlled. It's crazy. So we're all taught that, you know, you've got to come first in sports. You know, no one wants to be the loser. And when you lose or when you're picked last, everyone laughs at you. So that's sort of ingrained into you as a child. And to be fair, as a child, it's not very nice to be exposed to all that. So what we need to learn is it's okay to lose. It's okay to make mistakes, because the only way that you're going to learn and get things right is making mistakes. Some of you may have watched me for a long time on YouTube. Now, there was a video that I'd done, an overnight camp with a friend of mine called Quality Jackson. And we both went out and done a camp together. And in the morning, the next day, I wanted to get a fire going to cook us some breakfast. Well, guess what? I'd done that fire for the first time in my life with the camera recording naturally. And it took me nearly an hour to get that fire going. It took me nearly an hour. And I was using flint and steel, I was using my knife, I was using the ferro rod to try and get a spark into a bit of King Alfred's cake and to blow it and to get dry grass, which was damp everywhere, and make a fire so we can have, I think it was sausages wrapped in bacon and some boiled eggs. I think that's what we had in the end. But it took me an hour. So I kept failing. But the most important thing to take from that video is don't give up. Now, the comment section on that video is quite interesting. It's almost 50-50. You had 50% of the people saying, what an idiot, he doesn't know what he's doing, oh my God, even my mum can do that, etc. Then you've got the other half of the people saying, well done for showing everyone the truth of what it's really like, because there is a bullshit notion out there that anyone who knows their stuff can literally sit down, get their fire kit out, spark, spark, boom, a wonderful fire. But the reality is it's not always like that. Even the best. I've seen Ray Mears trying to get a fire going. It took him 20 minutes. So if it takes him sometimes 20 minutes, don't feel bad that you should do the same. Okay. We all learn by mistakes. And the core message behind that is if we don't make mistakes, we're never going to learn anything. No one has learned anything by not making mistakes. It's the only, in fact, it's probably the best, truest way to learn is by making mistakes. And you can apply that to anything that you do. Okay. And it takes as long as it takes. But if you keep trying, you keep pushing forward, you will get there. I did get that fire going. And yes, the breakfast was really nice. But if I give up, we would have been hungry. That's just an experience of my journey. Another important thing which has materialized over the last month or so is learning how to listen. One of the most important things we could ever learn in the history of anything. Shout out to my partner Rachel. Hi darling, I love you. Yes, listening. Now I think when it's just basic communication, when you're talking to anyone, whether it's a friend, a teacher, whatever it is, a work colleague, okay, you're talking, how does it make you feel when you're talking that someone just interrupts and talks over you? It's not nice. And you don't fully get your message across because that message has been intercepted. Why has it been intercepted? Because the person on the receiving end is basically showing to that person that I'm more interested and powerful than you because I've got no respect for you, so I'm going to talk right over you. There you go. How's that? That's not really nice when you think about it that way, but that's the truth. Sometimes people don't give that person space to just talk. And even if it takes 30 seconds or 20 minutes non-stop, practice it, try it. It happened to me with two friends of mine the other day. And as soon as I said that, the whole dynamic of the conversation changed. No one, excuse me, was interrupting each other no more. And it was amazingly powerful to see. Because up until that moment when I said that, you know, the person's wife was talking and all of a sudden just talked right over them. And I'm thinking, wow, how does she feel? So yeah, just try it. Let the person say whatever they got to say. Give them 2 or 3 seconds after, and then it's your turn to talk. But not only just give them the space and the time, but actually listen to what they're saying. And it helps by relaying to that person key points of what they just said to reassure them that they've actually been heard and understood. It's really important. This is basic communication. Now, are we taught this at school? I don't remember being taught that at school. I really don't, because it is one of the most fundamental problems global society has, is not being able to do what I've just outlined there. One person talks, the other person shuts the hell up, refuses the urge to chip in and to talk over that person. Just suck it up, calm down, listen to that person, be really interested, wait for them to finish, and then you've got your turn on the stage, as it were. It's really, really important, because all the time that doesn't happen, you are going to see relationships fail. You're going to see friendships at work diminish. It's just bonkers. But we all need to learn to listen to the other person. There was something else I was just going to say about that, but it's completely flew out of my head. But that is really, really important thing to learn. Oh yeah, and the other thing, just imagine the situation. Okay, you've got 2 chairs and a table in the middle. Okay, so one person is talking to the other person. How rude is it to get a phone and put it in front of the person that you're talking to? Because subconsciously, psychologically, what that's doing is saying to the other person that my phone is more important than you because I'm putting it in between us. A very good thing to learn and to understand is when you are communicating with someone else, is get your phones, put them out of the room, turn them on silent, because it's rude and it's incorrect to communicate correctly with something like a distraction. And let's face it, there's nothing more distracting than these bastard things. They're a nightmare. They record what you say. The microphone's always on, regardless if you think it's turned off. It's bullshit. It's always on. Okay, it's recording everything I'm saying right now. But when you lose the fear, which I'm going to get onto in a bit, you don't care about that shit. You just don't. Okay, you can choose how to feel about anything. You're in control of your life. You decide what you want to do. Okay, so yeah, communication is really, really, really important. And like I say, value your own mental health first. Okay, if you're feeling stressed out, down, pissed off, and upset, make it a priority to do something to heal that, to fix that, to repair that, to work on it, to give it time and space rather than anything else. Because it's probably one of the most important things that we can do is to focus on ourselves and not be too worried about, oh, I've got to go and please that person because otherwise I'm going to be looking like this. Screw that. Think of yourself. Like I said earlier, when you're grieving or you're in a bad place, you feel lonely, you're worried about you can't pay the bills, or like me, the car continues to break and it costs a fortune, and you do sometimes spiral into a bad place. Now, most of us have been to bad places, and the overall advice from me that I can give to anyone, if it helps, is to keep going. No matter how bad your situation is, if it's the worst possible that you can ever imagine, try your very best. Make it the utmost urgent priority without anything else coming into play. Find anything positive. I mean anything. Okay. and focus on that. Think about that, because the more that you focus your thoughts and energy onto something positive in a world of darkness and pain and despair and gloom, that small ray of hope and that bit of positiveness will start to grow. And when it starts to grow, you can feel it overtaking all of the bad stuff. And they're great techniques to help you through bad stuff. There's all sorts of techniques that you can use that I've found helpful. Some of it is music. Some music that makes you happy, that cheers you up, that brings back good memories. That's a good way to sort of grow out of that really bad pain, which is becoming overwhelmingly unbearable, and you're really struggling. Okay, music is great. Something to make you laugh, a stand-up comedian or whatever it is. Okay, if it just makes you laugh once, you've already come a long way, because a few minutes ago you was crying, your eyes were sore, you were knackered, you felt empty inside, and you're allowing everything to pile on top of you. Every little thing that's gone wrong, you're blowing it all up and it's getting really bad, and all of a sudden you've just laughed. Now that is powerful shit, real powerful shit, because if you are capable to get yourself in a space to do that, absolute kudos to you. You've already got one foot in front of the other, and you're starting to walk, you're starting to keep moving. Okay, it's when you stop and allow all of that weight and stress to fall upon you, it's not going to do you any favors. So if you need respite because it is bad, cool little techniques like that absolutely happen. Even if it's just you're sitting outside and you need a break from being inside a box, a room, a prison, sit down, and if you see a bird land on a tree, just look at it and watch it. That will make you feel a lot happier than where you were thinking about the terrible thing which has just been bestowed upon yourself. Okay, and every now and again it's good to look back in your life to see how far you've come, because sometimes we could find ourselves in a situation where we're going, bloody hell, I'm 50 odd years old now, what have I done with my life? Well, another good tip is try not to be so hard on yourself, because of your situation is totally unique. No one else is going to understand your situation. Why? Because no one's ever experienced exactly the same things as you. It's impossible. There is not one reported incident anywhere in the whole history of human life on this planet that two people have had exactly the same experiences. It's impossible. Therefore, we are all unique and individual. So don't be so hard on yourself, because you have to bring to the fore, what have you gone through? You know, you've probably walked through a lot of bloody bad stuff. So don't feel so bad about yourself, because you're still here. You're still walking. You're still trying. You're still learning. You're still growing. And you're still evolving. That's a good thing to do. Okay. So every now and again, look back and say, bloody hell, do you know what? 4 years ago, I did live in a really rough, bad council estate with crap job prospects. And here I am now, living in a place where I've always wanted to live. Because we have to make ourselves do the things that we feel we need to do. Because let me tell you this, Jack, no one is going to do it for you. And that's part of the problem that we've got today. People are not focusing on themselves. They're focusing outside there. They believe that someone else is going to help them and do it for them. We need to be more self-sufficient. And as adults, we need to take a lot more responsibility for ourselves rather than blaming other people. Guess what? Whatever happens to you, it's no one else's fault but you. You're the reason why you're in the situation that you are. No one else. Everyone's got choices to make. And all of the time we're blaming someone else. Oh, it's not my fault that this has happened. It is, because we've all got choice. It's down to us. The basic thing that we need to learn to do is to lose the fear, because when you're not as scared as many things as you used to be, you can take more responsibility for yourself, because you're not worried about, one, what other people think. I can give a toss what people think about me. If they want to think this, that, and the other, that's fine. Let them. And if they're angry, jealous, bitter, which I often get, then that's fine too. It's their experience. They're just pushing out their pain because they can't do it themselves. They want someone else to take their shit, so it's out of them, so they feel they can get better. But it doesn't work like that. They're just going to get worse. And I choose not to let it get to me. It's as simple as that. You can allow it to let it get to you, But what that's going to do is that's going to fill your cup up, like I said earlier, and make you feel even more stressed out with all of the other crap that you've got going on in your life. It's nuts. It really, really is. So yeah, when I say that, we need to pretty much ignore anyone, and I do mean anyone, who is not serving you, who is not helping you to be the better person that you want to be. Anyone who is not contributing, anyone who's dragging you down, anyone who's taking a piss, sometimes under the guise of banter. That's another thing, especially on social media with words on the screen. You could really, really insult someone and be rude, disrespectful, and then you can put a smiley face and a thumbs up at the end. I'll get that a lot. And you know what? I don't care. I just block them because they sort of try and end that slagging off incident with a little thumbs up and a smiley face. Hey, I'm only joking, whatever. Hold on. Basically, you're being an arsehole and you're telling me that you don't like this because of whatever, but you seem to think that I'm going to think it's okay because you've done a little smiley face and a little thumbs up thing. Well, I'm not stupid. I see it as an insult and I treat it accordingly. And that the best way is to block. Boom. That person can never leave a comment on my channel again unless they want to open another account and carry on. And guess what? I block them again. It takes me 1 second to click block. Done. It takes them ages to create an account, create an email address, confirm it, blah, blah, blah. And they can go, blah, 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 and go, block. Eventually, they will stop. They will get the message. But I choose not to let it get to me. I can just start reading a comment of like 50 words and I can sort of have a feeling of where it's going within the first 6 words. And sometimes I don't even bother because I feel, oh my God, this is going that way. All right, block, whatever. And, lots of people, especially if you're watching this and you've got a sizable following online, whatever number you deem that to be, you know exactly what I'm talking about. People will knock you. People will be jealous because they want what you have. And the only way that they can feel better about themselves is to have a pop at you. Well, guess what? Just block. Because the second you start retaliating, you're lowering your energy down to theirs. So you have chosen to do that. It's not their fault. Yes, I know it's hard and they bite and they goad and, most of it's ego. Don't worry about the ego stuff. It's just a shell at the end of the day. It's just perception, what other people think. Let it go. It's not important. It's inside is the most important thing. It's strength of character, honor, and strength. That's the most important thing in human qualities. I don't give a shit what you look like. I don't care if you're one of these crazy women on Instagram with a frigging duck face, eyelashes like a frigging gorilla. Most of these people are fake. It's what's on the inside that counts. It's the wholesome, genuine, honest, stand to, take no shit. They're the good people and they're out there. And unfortunately, there's lots of people struggling, like the duck face girl and all the rest of it. They're out there. Okay. They're out there. So it's up to us. Do we give them time and energy? Do we need to? Does it help you? Does it serve you? Does it end up being something that you want in your time or not? You've got that choice. There's always a choice. I get a bit tired of people saying, oh, it's not my fault. I had no choice. I had no choice. The biggest crock of bullshit in the world. And it's called excusitis. People will use these as excuses because they can't frigging deal with it for whatever reason. It's their journey. It's their problem. Just letting them deal with it. And if they want to throw their toys at the pram and make themselves look crazy, then that's fine too. It's their way of dealing with it. And we should just leave them alone. Don't get wound up or wild by it. Just let them boil away. Eventually, hopefully, they'll come to the conclusion, wow, I made myself look a right dick then. Maybe I've just learned something. Haha, a good thing. Just let them be. That's my thoughts on that anyway. And also be careful who you are trying to help, okay? Because like I said, it's a very good human quality to be human. In other words, to help other people. If I'm walking down the high street somewhere and some old granny, a bag of apple splits and goes over the floor, I will rush over to there and pick them up for her and just help her in some way. you know, all these geezers or people out there will just look and not do nothing. So what I'm saying is just be careful who you are trying to help, because the more time that you're spending into helping other people, you know, what are you doing with your life? That's how I've found myself going after all these years. I'm so on it with trying to help as many people as possible. But, you know, what about me? Is anyone helping me? Not really. Am I helping me? No. Why? Because I'm too busy or hell-bent thinking I need to help everyone. But it just gets too much. And you need to just step back and just say, do you know what? I am not a counselling service. The amount of messages and emails and comments that I get because the people are struggling, I am not your counsellor. I'm here right now to tell you that you have your problems. It's your journey. It's down to you to do what you need to do to fix you. It's nothing to do with me. All I'm trying to do is to try and encourage people to take responsibility for themselves and to really think about what they like about themselves, what they don't like about themselves. You know, if we're honest, there's loads of things about ourselves that we hate, we just don't like. So it's called self-work. I'll tell you what a good little tip is as well, is just when you're on your own, look in the mirror and talk to yourself out loud. Not like really loud, just talk like we're talking now. And just talk to yourself and just say, what do I not like about myself? What doesn't sit well with me as a person? And really understand it, and then say to yourself, why am I doing this? Why? It's not who I want to be. So you need to try and change that behavior, however way that you see fit, to make yourself the person that you really want to be. And most of us just want to be nice, thoughtful, caring people, just want to do what we want to do without affecting or upsetting anyone else. We just want to be left alone to live this experience on this planet. That is a real basic common thing which I believe we should all have. And yes, I'm not talking about the 5% of people on the planet who are seriously mentally deranged, who are hell-bent on frigging upsetting so many people. We're talking about the majority of humans, okay? You know, what would happen to war if no one turned up to fight? It's the few people who push us around to make us do their shit. How many politicians have you seen on the front line in Howland? None. And you never will. Why? Because people feel that they need to believe all of the bullshit. Oh, you're fighting for your country and you're fighting for the king and God save the king and all that bullshit. It's bullshit. It's human beings being horrible to each other because someone's telling us to do so. Well, I think we're heading towards a time now where all that's going to change. People are going to say, do you know what? I am not going to get 25 grand a year to kill loads of people and end up with PTSD and thrown on a scrap heap because you don't give a shit about me. That's all changing. I can see it and I can feel it. It's already happening. The tide is turning, folks. Humans are waking up from their slumber. They are. And maybe you are now. And if you are, I'm really happy for you. That's an amazing achievement. In a world of hurt, you have finally realized who you are and you are doing what you need to do to make yourself the person that you really want to be. Why work for Bob Jones down the road on like £8 an hour, being abused and threatened and bullied? Who would want that? You've got the choice. Just leave. Who would want that to happen to them? You have the choice to do whatever you want to do. And yeah, we just need to empower ourselves a bit, to be fair. And also try and focus on opportunities as well. Focus on good things. Okay, because let's face it, there's so many problems in the world, especially being absorbent with social media. We can scroll through and go, oh my god, there's a poor dying little kid in Africa. It's made me feel really sad. Oh my god, look at that donkey. He's really sad and he's worn out. He's had a hard, all the sad doom and gloom and depression. It's out there in abundance, and you can accompany that towards the five senses, so you can see and you can hear. The hearing is they'll play really somber, really sad music to accompany the message which they're trying to convey to people, which is to make them feel emotionally sad and to help. That's the problem. And the reason we're doing that is because we've been indoctrinated to help other people all the time, where we should really be doing what we want to do. And I know that probably sounds selfish, but when you've walked the journey that I have, and the experience that I've had, it makes a lot of sense, because all the time you're focusing your power, your energy into helping those other people. What are you doing to yourself? You're emptying your energy. What are you doing for you? Who's there for you? Who gives a shit about you? Well, you should. That's the whole underlying message which I'm trying to put across in this crazy live stream that I'm doing. So, because what we focus on, what we put our energy into, is what happens. So, if you think about where you want to be, do you like living in that block of flats? Do you like living in that city? Do you really like it? If so, cool, stay there. If there's something inside you saying, do you know what? I work in the city, I live in the city. Every now and again on a Sunday afternoon, if I get 3 hours to myself, I like to go out for a drive and walk around the countryside, see all of the greenery, the blue skies, the fresh air, the bird song, and all the rest of it. It's gorgeous. It really relaxes me. It really helps. And then you go back to the city and you go, oh God, you get the overwhelming urge, like, oh, I can't stand it here. So when you really be honest with yourself and you say, I am not happy here, I don't like it here. When I'm in the countryside, I'm really happy. So focus on you actually living in the countryside. You can do it by steps. Imagine yourself going to an estate agent, looking at a few houses or whatever, or just driving around to see where these are. Imagine yourself doing these steps and see yourself like waking up in that lovely little cottage somewhere in the hills or by a river, somewhere nice and out of the way, by the forest or something like that. Imagine yourself actually living like that. And all of a sudden, the more time that you spend thinking of that sort of stuff, when you're daydreaming at work, when you're bored, all of a sudden, all of these weird opportunities will start happening. You would just go down the pub and you're waiting at the bar and some bloke next to you, you know, just starts chatting and say, bloody hell. They said, I can't believe my luck. He said, I'll finally move from the city and go out to the countryside. I'm packing and I'm going tomorrow. And this is my last drink and this shithole. Oh, wow. How did you do that? Well, I've done this, this and this. Oh, my God. I do those things as well. All of a sudden, these two guys have got something in common. And it's just unbelievable the amount of weird synchronistic opportunities which will present themselves to you all of the time that you're focusing your energy and your thoughts into something positive. Flip it. You're thinking about negative stuff. You're thinking about how screwed we're getting taxed by the government, the potential uprising by Muslims who are going to come around and behead everyone. And we're scared about this and we're scared about that and we're worried about this. All the time we're thinking of those things, we're slowly creating it to actually happen. And if you think that's outlandish bullshit, well, stick around. Because what they are trying to do on social media is to try to coerce everyone into a state of fear. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. On the telly, on the news, on the radio, on social media. It's all fear stuff. Excuse me. And it's all designed to lower your energies, to make you feel that there's nothing you can do about it. You're weak on your own. You can only survive with other people. And blah, 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 you're insignificant, you haven't got the power to do anything. They want you to feel and think that. And the more that you think and feel that, well, guess what? Your little dream or whatever of living in that cottage somewhere is never going to happen. And you're going to end up probably in a really bad place because you're constantly thinking about it. It's your choice. You decide what you want to think about in your own head. No one else's business. No one else can tell you. It's your choice. You can decide to do that whenever you want, anytime. And it's how you structure your time. Do you really need to go and meet Bob down the pub on Saturday afternoon to watch a football? Or do you want to be on your own in the woods and sit down, make a little fire and just think about these things that I've been talking about? What are you going to do with your life? How are you going to change it? How are you going to grow and evolve as a better person? Because all the time that you're tossing your life away with all of these seemingly insignificant actions, you probably aren't going to get anywhere. And then on the same token, you're probably going to moan because you're not going anywhere and it seems some other people are and you're jealous of them. Well, it's down to you. You decide what you want to do with your time. You're an adult. You're responsible for yourself. You structure it however you want to and then be the change that you want to see. Absolutely. And make space for what you love. Like I'm saying, structure your time. Okay. All of these insignificant people who pretend to be your friends on social media, just stop communicating with them, because it's taken up your valuable time, and time is very valuable. It's the most precious asset of everything ever, is time. So why are you choosing your precious time to communicate with these arseholes? The push come to shove wouldn't piss on you if he was on fire. Why? You are allowing this to happen, no one else. It's your choice. It's your call, Jack. What are you going to do? You're going to carry on communicating with these arseholes, or are you going to do something for you? Do you really value yourself? Because if not, you're just going to spunk your time away with these arrogant arseholes online. Do something for you. You'll thank me for it later. And when you start realizing that you can do stuff for you, and how good it's going to make you feel and be, and all of these positive opportunities will absolutely pop up everywhere. You follow your intuition, your gut feeling, and that path is going to change big time. You are going to be so much more relaxed, so happy, so fulfilled, because you are doing what you actually want to do. Why would you want to stand up packing car wing mirrors all day when you hate it? You're choosing to do that. Oh, it's the only job there was. No, keep looking, find a way. There's always a way. It's down to you. You can either give up, suck it all up and be miserable, moan, whinge, be jealous of other people who are making a better life than you. What are you going to do about it? You can stand there and moan all day, and guess what? Nothing's going to change. You're still going to end up standing up packing car wing mirrors. Don't do it to yourself. You're better than that. You know you are. You just need to lose the fear and to make the change to absolutely change that situation. It's that simple. And lastly, keep moving forward. Okay? Winston Churchill said it. If you're going through hell, keep going. No matter how bad it is. We've all been there, me included. We're all in the same boat. We've all been through this shit. All of us. Now, what we're going to do about it? Find yourself a true good circle of friends. Ignore all of the others. Don't spend your time with the others. Just have a group of up to 5 friends. You don't need any more. They will be enough. And when you feel you really need to reach out, they will be there for you. It's that simple. So I'm going to pop into the chat. I've not even looked at the chat. God knows how this is being received. It's nothing to do with... oh my God. Thank you, Oliver. It's very kind. Awesome. As I say, this sort of stuff is about prepping. It's about how we think, how we feel, how we empower ourselves to give ourselves the best possible outcomes for us. Like I said, it's all well and good having all of the kit, equipment, books, and you know what to do. That's great. That's really good. But if your mindset is so fragile where it could literally fall apart of the first sign of stress, you're not going to do yourself any favors. You need to exercise what's in there, not just what's up in there. Okay. Yeah, it's being strong is important, of course. But without that mind to match it, you ain't going to get very far. So the live stream last night that I done got blocked and cancelled by YouTube because I said a few things about AI which the system didn't like. So I'm sorry for you guys who never saw that on the replay. It was a really good live stream about artificial intelligence and where this is all going. It's crazy and deep fake stuff. So Cheshire Wanderer, how do? If you've just joined, mate, I recommend that you go to the beginning and watch this, because I know you, dude. You're going to appreciate this live stream. And if you can, Mike, if you can you send the link to this video to JP, right? Because send it to him, tell him it's from me, tell him I love him, and tell him he really needs to watch this 1 hour live stream. It will help. All right. You guys are awesome. I love you too. And yeah, I will do. Right. Okay. So yes, there will be a live stream tonight at 7 o'clock. I've got no idea what to talk about. It may even be something like this. I don't know. Let me know in the live stream chat or the comment section of if you found this live stream of value. Do you appreciate listening to stuff like this? Is it all a bit hippie-ish and whatever? Or do you want to hear about how to purify water and hide from the enemy and stuff like this? Because I can do it all. But personally, I like talking like this. That's what I feel I wanted to do today, and that's what I've done. Like I say, when you start losing the fear, you can do anything you want. You're more powerful than you think. Thanks for watching. Stay funky.